sesh on ESG. So ESG stands for Environmental Social Governance, and it's a framework that could be used to assess a company's impact on the environment and society. Now in this video we're looking at the value of ESG, the pros and cons. Click the card up there if you want even more detail on ESG. So thinking about the pros of ESG, well firstly it's useful for investors, one type of stakeholder of course, because they can use ESG as a way to measure the CSR of the business. And that might allow them to enable them to align their investments, their money, with their values. And that's useful for them because it will reduce their risks, of course, in the long term. And also ESG, well, it might be a way to identify risks that traditional financial analysis wouldn't be able to see. The current ratio, return on capital employed, those types of metrics wouldn't be able to look at the environmental impact, the society impact, and of course governance within the business. So that's why ESG might be useful. And therefore you are better positioned for long-term sustainability if you are, as a company, pursuing an approach of being ESG, or if you're an investor investing in a company that is seen to be ESG. Also, it might help other stakeholders. It might help you attract, it might help you retain employees who like working for a business that is ESG. And that might be good in terms of productivity. It could be good in terms of efficiency. If the staff stay with you longer, it's great in terms of keeping that experience for the long term and keeping them motivated. And that could also help you in terms of being more creative and being innovative. Now, it's also useful to be ESG in terms of your brand awareness and your brand reputation that's going to improve. And if your brand improves, that could lead to repeat sales. You're seen to be ESG, seen as a strong, strategic, caring, moral business. That might lower your PED, make you more price inelastic. That might enable you to put your prices up, and that's super great because it will mean if you put your prices up, you can increase your revenues. And it also might enable you to grow your market share. So there are benefits from a company perspective, a profit perspective, a bottom line perspective of being ESG in terms of improving your brand reputation. However, there are limitations of ESG. The first one is there's no precise way to exactly measure ESG. There are different types of measures for that. So therefore, because there's no single precise measure, it's hard to compare companies even in the same industry. There's also the CSR PR debate and the fact that there's also potential that companies might be putting on PR, a public relations show. They might be greenwashing, they might be blue washing. Details on that, the card's up there. They might be overstating the goods of the business, understating the bads of the business in terms of greenwashing the environment and people for blue washing. So number 3, in terms of the problems, well, there's no proven link actually between ESG being strong in a business and financial performance, the profit of the business. So that's something to watch out for. But nevertheless, there's clearly growing traction in the use of ESG. It's becoming a more and more frequently used term within business. It's important for stakeholders, including shareholders, including employees, including customers, consumers. And there's a want now for companies to be transparent and to be accountable. And the last thing to think about is that it's just useful as another metric beyond the financials, as I mentioned before, something beyond financial ratio analysis. Hope that helps on ESG. See you at the next sesh.